Hey friends, this is Tig in with another reaction video. And today we're going to be talking about, is it impossible to vet men, or are you bad at vetting? Now, the content creator is named CHRISSIE, and I want to go ahead and do a reaction from a woman's perspective when it comes down to finding a good and decent man. Or are these women not really looking at character when it comes down to these men that they choose? Is it because these guys got clout, they famous, they good looking, more superficial things that women usually want when they have the capabilities of getting it, okay? So, like I said, I want to see what she had to say, and there's a very good chance I'm probably going to disagree with a lot of it, but hopefully we can find common ground somewhere, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you know whenever we come out with new videos, okay? Alright, let's get started.
It's impossible to vet men. What if they switch up? 99% of the time, they're not switching up. They're showing you exactly who they are. So when you think about Offset, when you think about Yo Gotti, when you think about Diddy, when you think about Cam Newton, what did they switch up? 99% of the time, y'all are fully capable of vetting these men. Because the red flags are just right there in front of your face. You're just ignoring them.
See, this is the thing. I do agree with what she's saying, but this is the thing about these women, especially when they go after famous men. It's no vetting involved. They know exactly what they're getting into, and they love that excitement. They love that bad boy energy that these men portray. But they know it also can go south. They know it's a risk. Hopefully, they can gain something out of it before it ends, basically. Because I truly don't believe that these women think that these guys are the forever partners that they trying to portray. I believe that they say, look, if things don't work out, I'm gonna get me some expensive bags, maybe a car, some money, maybe I can pop out a baby and he has to pay for the rest of his, life for that. Or at least 18 years anyway. But either way, the women try to make him pay for the rest of his life. But I think the vetting is not even important to them. I don't even think they care. Now, when it comes down to like an average guy or something like that, she probably gonna try to, put him through all kind of stuff. Usually it's called like shit tests. They'll try to put you through it, see if you are a very giving man, if you're willing to tolerate a lot of their craziness and stuff like that. They'll put you through all kind of tests. And these tests don't stop. They'll do it like during the whole relationship, okay? They won't stop. They'll keep on poking the bear, so to speak. But when it comes down to these men, they will not vet, because they already know what they want when it comes down to these men. It's just like when a woman come across a very good looking guy, right? Somebody that she's highly attracted to. She's not going to wait. She's going to sleep with this guy immediately. Might be the same night, maybe the day after or whatever. So you won't think she's promiscuous. But when it comes down to the average guy, trust me, he going to have to walk across hot coals just to get her number, okay? She gonna put him through the paces, and there's still a chance he might not get anything. So, like I say, these women, if you can stroke their egos, and if you can get enough emotion going with them, there's a good chance you can hook up with them, right? And a lot of these famous guys, they usually don't really have to do much, really. You know what I'm saying? All they have to do is be famous and rich, and that's enough. Vetting, like I said, I agree with her. When it comes down to men like this, there's no vetting here. They're not trying to find out if these guys are long term. They don't care, because in their mind, in my opinion, anyway, in their mind, they think they're gonna walk away with something. That's what I believe. Okay, but let's continue.
That is the issue. I had a woman in my comment section. She was like, "Oh, men can change at any time. You don't know if they're gonna lie. How do you vet liars?" And I'm like, girl,
come on, you telling me when this girl right here, she's like one of those city girls or whatever, I forgot her name, but you telling me she had no clue about Diddy? No clue. All the stuff this guy was doing. I mean, at the least, she heard rumors about this dude, and yet she got with him regardless. Now, if Diddy was just an average dude, man, I mean, he would have had to go through so much just to get her to talk to him. Okay? Let's just say he made as much as she did, or just a little bit less, or something like that. She would have made that man work for it really, really hard. And if she would have found anything wrong with this dude, there was a good chance he might not get anything. She probably would take advantage of him, let him pay for things or whatever. But in the end, she probably is not going to make him, her partner or something like that, right? But when it comes to dating, she did not care. There's no vetting involved when it comes to men like this. So when women, they used to date Diddy, talking about, I didn't know he was like this and blah, blah, blah. Or they'll tell the truth because it might be profitable for them. Yeah, he was a jerk and he did this to me and all this kind of stuff, right? But yet you find out they was with this guy for years. Okay? So the only time they usually tell the truth is when it's money involved. Okay? They can like bring up some type of lawsuit or something. Okay? But other than that, they'll try to pretend like they didn't know this guy was a jackass. Okay? I mean, basically truth. So there's no vetting. When they go in with their eyes open. There was this woman who, what's her name? They called her, it's a bad word. I don't know if I can use this on YouTube. Is when, is the BJ. Okay? They called her this name, right? She was very famous. She did a lot of music videos and things of that sort. And when she was talking about Diddy freak out party, she said she knew exactly what they were when she went in. And she did it. She did everything he asked her to do. He paid her, I'm assuming, right? But she knew what she was getting into because she heard about Diddy. She heard about his parties. But then these women like her and Jennifer Lopez and people like that try to pretend like they don't know this dude, right? No. I'm surprised he did it. It's such a shocking to see him do that to Cassie. I can't believe he would stoop so low. They knew this guy. There was no vetting involved with this dude. And guys like this, they just want to get in the door. And they know you can't vet Diddy. There's no way in the world you can vet Diddy. Diddy look at you like, what? You trying to vet me? You trying to get in the door with me, but you gonna vet me. I should be vetting you. That's the terms, okay? And they're going to abide by it, depending on how badly they want to get with Diddy. All right? So, I mean, come on, man. So, vetting is not involved. So, like I say, I'm not exactly sure where this video is going when she's just talking about just regular guys. But when it comes down to a lot of these famous dudes, man, vetting is not involved. Trust me.
Oh, y'all are giving men too much credit. They don't lie that well. Cam Newton wasn't lying to Jazzy. She knew the type of man that he was because she became the fourth baby mama. So you didn't have to have a magic ball. You didn't have to predict anything. You knew what kind of nigga that was.
Look at Nick Cannon, man. You telling me none of these women knew? The only person that probably didn't know was Mariah Carey. You know what I'm saying? She's already famous. She's already rich. She's more richer than he was. Matter of fact, he just came out with an article. He was on a podcast talking about that he was intimidated by Mariah Carey. And I think even to this day, Mariah Carey is his favorite out of all of them. I mean, he don't want to be with her anymore, but she was his favorite. And I think he got a soft spot when it comes to her. Okay, now Mariah Carey is known for trying to date famous dudes too. I think this is the first time she dated down. You know what I mean? So, and I think she was at the time probably really looking for love, and she thought popping out babies too, right? But I think she's his favorite and stuff. But these other women, he was just spreading the seed, man. They knew exactly what they were getting into. And try to pretend like they didn't. That's why they so quiet. That's why they don't say anything. As long as the checks keep coming, and maybe he do occasional visits or whatever, take him out to dinner or what have you. These women ain't gonna say a thing. Mariah Carey don't need none of that. She is already rich. She love her kids, man. She can do whatever she want. And I think when he comes by, it's total respect. These other women got to basically beg and kiss his tail, basically. They very beautiful women, don't get me wrong. And it's possible they could have made decent wives, but instead they were chasing fame. And I agree with this woman on this channel that, they ain't trying to vet these dudes because they knew that he was having a bunch of baby mamas all over the place. They knew it. and they still wanted to be involved. Now, just like with Elon Musk women, they can probably try to find normal relationships with other men and stuff. And there are men out there that's going to take her, but I think those men aren't quality. You know, they just don't want to be alone. So they'll go out and find some dude. It's always possible, maybe for a couple of these girls, that they actually might find another famous dude, you know, to deal with them. Because it does happen. A lot of these guys, these rappers and NBA players, they still mess around and either get one of these girls pregnant or they'll mess around and marry them. Crazy stuff, man. I mean, like, it's amazing me how these famous guys, and a lot of them aren't bad looking guys, and they famous and they got money, but yet they just want to, you know, now I understand them wanting to sleep with these girls, but they want to have babies by them and then get married to them and stuff. It's very weird, but I'm noticing a lot of these women, when they start getting older, they start hitting they like 35 or whatever, they start going after young famous men. You know, there's another woman, what's her name, Kayla or something like that, right? She's dealing with a 22-year-old basketball player. I think either that he's a football player, I can't remember. But either case, she already had a kid. So she couldn't get a guy close to her age because he know better. So she decided to go after a young man. It's just like a few of these Instagram models too. They now, when they hit they like 30s or 35, they start to move on to like younger athletes because they feel like they can fool them. At the least, if they can't get married, they'll try to have babies by them and then get that check, you know? So, like I say, man, these women got like long-term plans, and none of these plans usually a very good husband that they vetted. You know what I mean? Somebody that they want to, you know, spend the rest of their life with. It don't seem like they have that kind of plan. It seems like they just want to either be baby mamas or a vessel for these rich guys to use. It's crazy, man. But I agree with Chrissy. She's right.
And you decided to become the fourth baby mama anyway. And so I really think that women, when we talk about this vetting conversation especially, we're giving men too much credit and we're not giving ourselves enough credit. And I know that people try to weaponize the vetting conversation against the Black women. I understand that, but
look at Lil Wayne, man. That is not the most handsomest man in the world. But these women, they're very attractive. They probably could get any man they wanted to in the past, especially when they were younger and not used. But yet, they're going to just give it to this guy and pop out babies like it's nothing. No vetting. They don't care about his character. All they care about is the fame. You know what I mean? That's it. And then when these guys treat them like crap, then they get angry and mad. And then they start to badmouth him. But one of the women tried to do that to 50 Cent. And 50 Cent was like, I ain't having that. She got right back in line after that, though, when he was talking about suing her tail. Then he backed off. He decided not to do it. But he was like, no, you ain't going to be like treating me like them other guys you treat. Like them guys hanging on your every word. Like them guys begging for sex. You ain't going to treat me like that. And guess what? She got right back in line. These women are always going to be attached to Lil Wayne and stuff. Yeah, they're going to find some sucker to marry them or something or whatever. Or have a baby by some stupid young famous dude. And then they run around with like 3 baby daddies or whatever. It's a really terrible cycle what's going on now. It used to be just in the projects when these things happen. When there's some, you know, stud or whatever will run around and have sex with a bunch of women in the projects. And then they're, you know, all these babies they be producing. But now it's starting to happen with a lot of these Hollywood people now, these famous celebrities. It's weird, man. But, you know, everybody knew this is where this was going. They just begging, you know. And these kids ain't... Look how they act like they love him to death, man. They know their daddy ain't crap, but they love him to death, though, because they want that inheritance. That's why a lot of these kids, I believe a lot of these kids are sticking with Diddy, man. They know Diddy ain't crap. But they want that inheritance because he'll cut them out. Hopefully, they thinking maybe we'll have some money left before all these lawsuits go through. But yeah, he's not a very good looking dude, man, and he don't seem like he take care of himself too well. But these women, they're ready to pop out them kids though.
But you can still vet. I understand that the niggas be trying to say, oh, you should have chose better. I get it. I totally get it. And women are allowed to make mistakes. But at the end of the day, you can vet. And, you know,
I have to admit, Future got some charisma in some way, so I can kind of understand why these women trying to hook up with him and stuff. But still, though, like I say, he definitely ain't trying to get vetted. And he ain't the most choosiest man in the world either. When it comes down to a lot of these females, 'cause I seen some of the pictures of the women he deal with, and they look like, I'm like, man, you're famous, got all this money, all these women want you, and this is what you choose. That's what gets me about a lot of these famous guys. I be thinking once you're famous and making a lot of money, become a millionaire or what have you, you'll be dealing with like models and things like that, man. But these dudes, man, they be dealing with people like Sexy Red and stuff, man, and Cardi B. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to down on them, man, but they not the highest quality women in the world, okay? And I was thinking, like, look, most men want to become famous to be able to date models and supermodels, okay? That was the dream back in the day. I don't know what the dream is now. What is the dream now, okay? So you could date some woman that used to work in a strip joint. You know what I mean? And you know, out there, you know, showing her butt to everybody and OnlyFans and all this other crap. I mean, it's really crazy stuff, man. You know, these guys, they get this money, they just get butt wild, man. Butt wild. But yeah, you ain't trying to vet no Future. You know what kind of man Future is. Everybody do. The man's all over the news all the time. So you telling me you have no clue? These women go out of their way to get with these guys.
I think about just like me, for example, when first coming on YouTube and the people that I affiliated myself with on YouTube. When I look back at that, I think I'm like, dang, I ignored a lot of red flags. The red flags are always there. We just ignore them.
I bet you $1 billion after she dealt with Future, and I still believe that she still got something in her heart for Future still to this day. I don't have anything to back that up, but you know, she really take care of his son and everything. So I think she got a soft spot for this dude anyway, despite his behavior and despite the fact that nothing happened. But I bet you $1 billion she did not vet that dude at all. She ain't vet him. She knew exactly what he was. But her husband now, I believe he had to jump through tons of hoops to get with her. Now, I think in her mind she was gonna hook up with him anyway, but she probably put him through all kind of junk though anyway, just because. Yeah, she was gonna marry him. He's a good looking guy. He's a famous football player. He got a lot of money. Yeah, she was gonna marry that dude anyway, but she knew that, look, I'm gonna have to get this man, you know, chasing after me. I can't be chasing after him because then I won't have the advantage. But she knew she could not do that with Future. She knew it. You know what I'm saying? She had to take him as is. You know how when you buy that crappy car because you really, 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 really need a car, and you and the dealer be like, nah, as is, man, as is. You ain't gonna be able to look under the hood or none of that stuff. Just like at these auctions, man, you ain't gonna be able to look under the hood or nothing. You buy it as is, and you desperate enough to do it. These women were so desperate that they didn't want to look under the hood of guys like this because they knew they didn't want. They want what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, they didn't want. Look, I forgot what the word is, but they didn't want any type of accountability, basically, right? Deniability or something, so that way they can say, you know, I didn't know he was like that and all this kind of stuff, right? Because they knew if they dig deep, they would have known that these guys were sleazy. She knew, and still she popped out a baby for him. She knew. But then one thing I can get Sierra credit for is instead of finding another dude like him, she decided to find a good Christian man. Now, sometimes she seemed like she disrespects him, but now it seems like she kind of getting in line because I think she's having twins now for him. So she's slowly becoming more of a mother than a pop star or whatever she was trying to do, right? Shaking her tail, talking all kind of crazy stuff. Because even though they telling women to get rid of their kids, they having kids by the groves here, okay? You know what I'm saying? It's funny how that is. But yeah. These women, when they hook up with guys like Future, man, they ain't trying to vet that dude. Cause that guy, he'll look at you and be like, "I'll just give me another B. Forget you." They know it, so they take him as is, and it never lasts. But she still have some ties to him because she had his son. And I think she wanted it that way. I still think she got a soft spot for this dude, man. I really do. I think she really, because I think they were engaged at one point. So I think she really wanted to marry him. But he just like, you know what, screw that, man. I'd rather just go out there and bang a bunch of women and have a bunch of kids. It's terrible, man. It's terrible.
I've done it. But it's like, just because you ignore something, ignore a red flag, that doesn't mean that men and people can't be vetted. I have been speaking with women for over 9 years now. And 99% of the time, we ignore glaring red flags when dating men who showed us who they were from the beginning.
Now, Cardi B, well, not Cardi B, I'm sorry, Nicki Minaj, she knew everything about this dude and didn't care. This is one of these situations, man, when she knew what she was getting into, but for some reason she wanted him. She wanted him. So she knew what she was getting into, man. It wasn't no, I mean, he might have had to jump through a few hoops. He probably had to finesse her and all kind of stuff to make it like, look, you really want to be with me and stuff. Made her feel good and all this stuff. But, you know, but if it was somebody else more famous like Drake or something like that, she would have. A matter of fact, I think she did hook up with Drake. I'm not exactly sure. You have to leave it in the comment section to let me know what the deal was with that. But you know, guys like that, they don't vet. They don't vet at all. You know what I mean? So it's always that question: are they really looking for good men, or they just looking for clout? They're looking for somebody that they can put on their IG pages or their TikTok or whatever, and you know, show everybody this is what I got. Look at my mansion. Look at my man. Everything rolling. But you know, none of that mess ever lasts. And then they act like they surprised when these guys fool around or treat them like dirt or go on TikTok and talk smack about them. And then all of a sudden they mad and surprised by it. But they're not surprised. They just responding. That's all that is. They knew what they was getting into. They knew who they were dealing with. And it's pretty much the same way. It's like a lot of these guys, when they choose a lot of these women, man, they don't care. You know, it started off with sex, and somehow these guys all of a sudden, I guess, fall in love at some level, you know, and decide to either have a kid or a baby with them. You know, so they not really vetting women like that. But men don't really do a lot of vetting. You know what I mean? Like they should. A lot of times when you good looking, you can get in the door. You can get in the door. You know, and a lot of guys fall for it. And sometimes they put a ring on it. And then they realize, oh crap.
Most men, most people are not good liars. Humans are creatures of habit. We're not good at hiding our true nature for long periods of time. There are experts on YouTube that provide information on how you can tell if somebody is lying. Their eye movements, their body language, how they move their hands. People just tend to look over and excuse poor qualities when we want a relationship to work. I agree that people can change over time, but that has nothing to do with the initial vetting process of screening someone, whether it be a man, a friend. And another thing, this is what I had to tell the lady in the comment section, vetting is not cut and dry. It can be repeated. You can vet more than once. There's no rule that says, oh, you can't vet somebody more than once. Yes, you can. At your job, do that.
Yeah, I agree with her. You can. Like I say, but they usually put regular guys through those paces, vetting them continuously. You know, guys step out of line, they pretty much don't give him no sex or something like that, or threaten to leave him or some crazy junk, right? But they always vetting this dude every time. And if this dude improve, let's just take this regular guy, right? He get a raise, and $100,000 raise or whatever, right? She's still gonna vet his tail. It don't matter because when she got with him, she didn't have any real respect for him, but she liked what he had, so she got with him anyway. I don't care how this guy improves, she's still going to put him through the paces. Whereas other guys like Neil or somebody like that, man, they just going to marry. They don't care. You know, they really, really don't care. They just going to go through it. Like I said, man, vetting does not apply to a very famous, rich, good-looking dude, man. And they don't really have to be all that good-looking. Look at Lil Wayne, for example, okay? We use him as an example that good-looking is not always applied. I mean, look at Notorious Big, man. Faith Evans and a bunch of them, Foxy Brown or whatever, all them jokers were chasing Notorious Big because he was famous. And they believed he was going to blow up. So they start popping kids out for him and junk. Looks didn't matter at that point, because when it comes to men, you know, they fame and they fortune can supersede their good looks when it comes to women. on the reverse end, women looks are most important to men. We don't care about your money or your college degrees or none of that stuff, man. You know, your look, you gotta be a baddie, man. If I'm famous and I want you, you gotta look good. You gotta look good, man. I don't care about how many degrees you got. If I'm not attracted to you, then it's no point. I won't even talk to you if I'm not attracted to you. I mean, if I have to at work or something, maybe, but other than that, and there's always that opportunity. There's always the opportunity for a man to sleep with you. Let me make that clear. Even if he an average looking chick, right? A man horny enough, he will sleep with you, or drunk enough. Other than that, we're talking about marriage here. We're talking about serious relationships. That's what I'm talking about. A man ain't trying to get with somebody he's not attracted to. Okay? Just one drunk night, maybe, but that's it. But like I say, man, no vetting here.
They sometimes not vet you more than once. Do you not have to do, I don't know, drug tests every couple of years? That's vetting. Just because you got to do it more than once or periodically doesn't mean that initial vetting process did not work. You deserve that job. You got vetted for that job initially, and they're going to have to vet you again to see, okay, are you still drug free? Let me test you. Let me give you a drug test again. That's vetting. The literal definition of vetting is to evaluate for the possible approval or acceptance. That's
when women finally get that ring though, they try to vet then at that point, right? All of a sudden now they're putting the man through the paces. If they get married and they got one of those contracts, then they want to renew that contract after a certain amount of years or whatever, right? Or they'll start trying to test these men, and that's when divorce happens because these guys like, you know what? I don't want to deal with you no more. I'd rather just leave you now. I'd rather you leave me. And that's why these relationships don't last. Because they don't vet at the beginning like they're supposed to. They vet while they're in the relationship, okay? Regular guys, they vet first. And then they continue to vet. Famous dudes with money, clout, they vet after the fact, after they get the man. All of a sudden, now they want to change him. All of a sudden, now they want to have some type of control over the situation. And then they pop out kids thinking that might work. Now I'm going to use my kid to control you now, whether we together or not. So they bring in courts and lawyers and all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, famous dudes, it's a different freaking lifestyle. It's a different freaking story when it comes to them.
That's what the definition of vetting is. That is possible. That's possible all the time, whether a person changes or not. And just because, we as women, we vet poorly, that doesn't mean we can change the meaning of words. That doesn't mean we can change the meaning of what vetting is. That doesn't mean we can minimize the effectiveness of vetting when it's done properly. The woman...
I forgot the YouTuber that said that he believes that women come... I might be Myron. I don't know if it was Rolo Tomasi. I can't remember exactly. But he said that women met the man they're supposed to be with and rejected him. All these women at one point met a good man, but rejected him, so they can chase after these famous dudes or whatever, right? And so all this vetting goes out the window when it comes down to a famous guy. Because they eyes are so wide open for these guys that, all reason and accountability goes out the window. All of a sudden now is I just need to get in. It's like a popular club or something, right? It's bull crap what they're asking for you to get in the door. You got, you can't wear a certain type of baggy pants, or you can't wear hats, or you got to dress a certain way. It's crap. And when they first opened, they didn't require all these things at the beginning, right? All of y'all been to clubs. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? All of a sudden, now that they got all these people coming in and they making all this money, now they vetting you all of a sudden. You got to dress a certain way or whatever, have a certain amount of people in your group or what have you. So that's what happens with these women. They want to get in the club. They want to get in the VIP section. They want to get with these dudes, right? And then once they're in, then they want to act a fool. Once they get in, then they want to start fights and cursing people out and getting drunk, getting stupid. And the same thing when they get in with these dudes. Once they feel like they really in, they all of a sudden start acting like a fool. Their real true nature comes out then. And then, of course, they're going to blame the man for that.
In my comment section, she was like, oh well, what if my man, he started out being great and then all of a sudden he cheats on me? Does that mean I didn't vet properly? No. That does mean that he changed. That doesn't mean you didn't vet properly. But again, if somebody changes, you can vet them again. They can be evaluated again. And then you can.
This is interesting part too, right? Women can basically talking about they're not happy, so they can have an affair or they can leave, right? Divorce you or whatever, right? But when men say they're not happy and they go out there and cheat, then all the crap goes towards them. All of a sudden they the bad guy. But these women, you didn't make me happy, so I went out and cheated. You didn't make me happy, so we're getting a divorce, and I'm taking your money and your children. It's okay because he did make her happy, but it doesn't matter if she made him happy. All of a sudden, he's still a terrible person. Men, especially famous men, really need to vet. Now, this is a different situation when it comes down to Dr. Dre and his wife, okay? I don't know that much about their relationship, but I know she was there pretty much from the beginning, almost. I mean, he was becoming famous. She got with him. And she stayed with him for years. Gave him kids, probably did what he told her to or whatever. He seemed happy. But at some point, she was done. She moved on, took half his money or whatever. She took a lot of money, and she stayed in court to make sure she got it. Now, I don't know if she really loved him or not or just liked his fame, but she at least stayed. I at least give her that. She stayed for a good long time before she walked out. So and I don't think he was too unhappy about it. He just didn't want to part with his money. But, I think they reached some type of settlement or something happened or whatever. But either case, I at least want to give her credit for that. Women at least stay there and take care of your kids and raise your kids and help you out with your business and all kind of stuff. They do deserve something. They do. I truly believe that. If she just came in when he was already rich and all kind of stuff and then she want to take half, I think that's crazy. I think that's insane. But like I say, he should have just, because thinking about it this way, if you're a rich dude, right, and let's just say you worth $1 billion and your woman say she wants half of that. Now, I know it's going to rub you the wrong way. I know you're going to feel like, oh, I don't want to give up this money, but I think it's a good thing that you give up this money to her. If she been there for years, raise your kids, help you, make your life easier so you can make a fortune, I think she deserves half. And think about it this way, too. If y'all got kids, most likely when both of y'all pass away, all y'all money going to your kids anyway. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? If she pass away or whatever, she gonna leave all that money to your kids. She's not gonna give it to some toy boy or some dude she tried to marry the next time or some guy she dating. She's not giving it to him. It's possible she might have a kid by one of these guys, but I doubt at this age now, I doubt if she gonna have kids. So most likely, if something happens to her, unless somebody deceive her and take all her money, most likely she's gonna leave it to your children. So either way it goes, man, your money is going somewhere that you want it to go. Your kids are gonna inherit all your money. So giving her half, I mean, I don't see that much of a big deal if she been with you for years and had your children, took care of you, helped you out, or what have you. I don't think it's a problem. But, some people think it differently.
Choose to stay or leave. That's what I think the misconception is. Y'all think that once you vet once, if he changes, then vetting is impossible. No, that just means he changed. That doesn't mean vetting is impossible. And then people will try to say that vetting doesn't work, and then they'll say something else that means the same thing. It's just a different word. They'll be like, oh, well, I don't vet. I just have standards. Ma'am, that's vetting. You're evaluating for possible approval or acceptance, and then you're making a decision that is best for you. That's vetting. Standards are the criteria that you hold for somebody, and vetting is the action of measuring someone against those criteria. If you do the latter in any scenario at any time with somebody, you're vetting that person.
These women know what vetting is because they do it all the time. They do it all the time. You got to be really crazy or stupid not to realize you're vetting somebody, okay? But women are the biggest ones that do vetting. They vet all the time. I'm like, you know how many men they're probably gonna approach her? What is Haley Bailey? I'm sure a lot of guys tried to get with her. She vetted all of them and ended up with this dude, but I think they broke up now. But she popped out a kid for him though first. But yeah, they vet constantly, constantly. Okay, so they know what vetting is.
So let's call a thing. That's vetting. Having standards and boundaries, that's vetting, babe. You can call it whatever you want, but over here we're gonna call it a thing. That's vetting. Again, you're getting vetted at your job all the time. Jobs don't.
It's the same thing with God in the Bible. He said, "Don't be unequally yoked." That's a form of vetting in a way. You want to make sure she's a Christian woman who has the same values and going in the same direction you are. You know, following Christ. You know, preaching the gospel. She's gonna marry you and be faithful and have your children. All these things, and be a mother and a wife, while you be the provider, protector of your family. You know, everybody got roles when it comes down to serious relationships. We talk about marriage here, okay? You know, if you can find somebody like that, you have to vet women to find a woman like that. You know, now women pretty much see what they want. Okay, like if he was like a Christian man and he followed God and he was good and she saw that and this is what she wanted, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Now, yeah, he can change during the relationship, but that's pretty much it. If she already sees the things she want in this man, she most likely gonna, you know, get with him really fast. Okay. But if she don't see those traits, she gonna vet the crap out of you, man. You really gotta prove to her that you want her attention, basically. Okay? And that's a lot of hoops you're gonna have to jump through to that. And it don't stop, man. It's a constant thing. I remember I was with this girl I was dating in Germany, man. She always would like start stuff with me, right? And one day I just asked her, I was like, why you keep on doing this? She say she just wanna, you know, because her English was a little bit broken, but she was saying that she wanted to see how far she could go with me, okay? She wanted to test our boundaries. And I was thinking in my mind, really, you think that way? This is during the time I was still learning about women, okay? So I'm like, really? Why? You know what I mean? But I understand it now, but yeah. Women always on your back, man. Constantly, man. Constantly. If you they world, they constantly vetting you. They constantly watching you. They want to know what you're doing. They want to know where you are. It's something, man, being in a relationship, man. If you going to work, you better be at work. She might just call you to tell you she love you, just to check to see if you're at work. She ain't gonna call your number. She gonna call the work number, just to make sure you're there. Yeah, when these women love and respect you, trust me, you gonna be constantly evaluated.
Don't stop reevaluating their employees because the first vetting process was completed. It's just another vetting period. And that's the nature of vetting. It happens periodically. It happens in periods. Just because it's done more than once for various reasons, that doesn't mean it's impossible or it doesn't work. When y'all are saying these things, it's important that you're making sense. And so my point here is, when it comes to hypergamy, when it comes to dating up, there is a vetting process in the beginning when you first meet somebody. And there's also a vetting process when or if a man changes. The two are...
Look, this is the thing. When women date up, there's no vetting in that. There's no vetting, no real vetting. Let me just put it that way, right? It might be a little bit, they might want him to be a little generous or what have you, but he got a lot of money, so there's a good chance he is going to be generous. But there's no real vetting there when women date up. When they date the equal or date down, that's vetting. Okay? And you can't vet somebody like Diddy. You ain't going to. You ain't going to be asking him, because he basically said in the interview, man, dating him is rough. Matter of fact, he said they be hating it at first because they got to deal with his behavior and the things that he do. He like to stay out late. I think J-Lo said something about he like come back, like go out to the club at night and then come back the next morning or something, right? There's no vetting. You basically know what you're getting, basically. Now, the question is, are you going to tolerate this after a while? You knew exactly what he was going to do. You knew exactly how he was going to act. But the question is, what is your tolerance level at this point? Is what he have enough for you to stay in this relationship? That's when these women have to ask that question. It's not whether he changed or not or whatever. They knew exactly what he was. But I think at the beginning they believed that, I'm getting money. Cause I heard they made this comment. I'd rather be crying in a Bentley kind of, rationality, okay? He might break my heart. He might fool around on me. He might do all kind of dirt. But at least I'm living in a mansion and driving a Bentley or whatever expensive car these days out there. But then after a while, they're not happy. And then they be trying to change him or something. But then they kind of figure, I'm probably going to be out the door. So I might as well take his kids and most of his money, as much as I can get. You know what I mean? So like I say, the only requirement is he got clout and he got money. That's it. That's all. And that's unfortunate when it comes to these women.
Are not mutually exclusive. Just like they wouldn't be at a job that you were vetted to get and then vetted again to keep. So you can vet to get a man and you can vet to keep him.
Look how miserable this dude look, man. And she vetted the hell out of this dude, which is interesting, right? Because he wanted to date her, but she kept blowing him off because she was trying to date other dudes. So she eventually ended up settling for him, okay? I don't think they still together, though. I wonder if they have kids together or whatever, right? But I don't think they're together anymore. You probably realized maybe she was more than I thought she was. That's that high expectations, man. That's that simp behavior. When you start putting these women on pedestals, it never makes you happy, man. I was out recently, man, last weekend, man. I saw a lot of guys at the bar or whatever in the restaurant. They had beautiful girlfriends, very beautiful girlfriends, man, but they looked miserable. Miserable. All of them. There was young men, there was older men. I mean, like, all of them looked like, man, they was on a leash or something, okay? They didn't look happy at all. And I'm thinking, is this what a relationship is these days now? You end up with a girl you think you wanted, and then everything they didn't even talk, man. They would just sit there, look at their phones, and eat their food or drink their drink, but they weren't even really having even a conversation, man. It was almost like they were just sitting home watching TV because it was a game playing. So basically, he was just looking at the game. Something they could have done at home, but she probably like, I want to go out. I want to sit here looking at a game in the house. So he'll take her to a sports bar or something and just do the same thing, but just in a restaurant. You know what I mean? Miserable looking, man, right? But yeah, she put him through the paces, but then I guess he realized maybe she wasn't all that.
And yes, you can vet liars. You sure can. And I just want to make this crystal clear. Like, y'all are giving men too much credit. You're giving people too much credit. Most people are not good liars unless they're like sociopaths. Unless they're fucking crazy and they're just super, super good liars. That's the only way, you're just going to be blindsided and, oh my God, he started out this way and then a year later he just switched up. He just changed.
Yeah, let me go back to Nick Cannon for a second, okay? He ain't lie. He possibly lied to Mariah Carey. That's a possibility. Rest of these chicks, he ain't lied to them. He ain't need to. Average dudes are the ones that normally lie because they trying to get with you, right? And they know they got to go through all these hoops to get with you. So they'll make up lies to get it. Nick Cannon ain't lying. He ain't lying to nobody. He don't need to. He knows it. He got all these beautiful women. I got to give it to Nick Cannon, man. He got good taste. Because a lot of these rappers like Future and some of these other guys, man, they be picking some raggedy looking women, man. I be like, you rich, man, really? But maybe that's what they like. Who knows? But either way, the man got taste. Look at these women, man. Gorgeous. But he ain't need to lie to them. The only person he probably lied to is Mariah Carey. That's it. He ain't need to lie to her. He probably still lying to her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when he talks about any of these women, he talks about her with respect, Mariah Carey. Because in the article, he was saying stuff like, I was intimidated by her fame. I didn't want to be the guy standing in the corner holding her purse and things of that sort, right? So you can see that he had respect. He still got it because he never badmouthed her, ever. But I never hear him talking about these chicks. Never. So he never need to lie to none of these women. Never. And when they all of a sudden be doing little interviews or writing these books talking about, he promised me the world. He told me he loved me and stuff like that, right? He probably did it before he nutted. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he walked in the room and smiled at them, and they was like, "Oh, that's Nick Cannon. I'm gonna have his baby." Trust me, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I agree with what Chrissy's saying. So far, it sounds good, but I think she should really get into detail about who these women really vet and who they don't vet. Okay, famous guys, they don't vet normally because they just want to get in the door. It's the average guys, either when they hit the wall or whatever, or had no other choice but to date these dudes. They're gonna vet these guys for the rest of the relationship. That's basically it. Okay. All right. I really appreciate all of you coming by. Thanks again. This is T and Peace.